is my kitchen, and this week is all about these beautiful strawberries. And you know, and usually strawberries, you use them for desserts, but I am going to teach you how to make beautiful savory dishes utilizing this beautiful berry. Pero la prima cosa che dobbiamo fare è prendere il faddale. But the first thing that we need to do is to put on the faddale. And the birds are singing. It's a beautiful day here. And you can probably hear the birds in the background. And I have chosen a beautiful, beautiful full of butterflies and hearts faddale. This amazing meal, guys, it is packed with nutrition. It is wonderful and it is delicious. I am going to be utilizing some boneless pork chops. It is my husband and I have these 3 beautiful pork chops. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to season them, and then I'm going to put them aside, because then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. So la prima cosa, the first thing that I wanted to do, okay, is to get some olive oil and a brush. Yes, I am going to turn my pan to start heating it, and I'm just going to have it at a medium just to get it going. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I am just going to oil one side of my wonderful boneless pork chops. Yes, these wonderful boneless pork chops. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to season them. And what I have here is some red pepper flakes and some regular black pepper, and that's what I'm utilizing. The red gives it a really pretty color, and also it's a very good taste. I just love red pepper flakes, I really do. And then what I'm going to do with this is I am going to utilize these salt crystals, these wonderful salt crystals, and this is going to give a nice little crunch, but it's also going to give our wonderful pork chops a wonderful deliciousness. I am going to turn them over next, and I am going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, we're going to take our olive oil. We are going to brush on each side. It's just like a painting, I'm done with this. I'm going to put this to the side over here, because I'm not going to utilize that. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to throw that away. So that what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to literally, you know, put some pepper, because, you know, we really want to season this guy. And now I'm going to utilize the wonderful flakes of salt, like so, just like so. Then I'm done with these. I'm going to move these out of the way. I'm going to get my wonderful little paper towel that I have here and put that on the side. Then what I have here, it is a little food processor. And in this little food processor, but in the meantime that I'm going to do that, I am going to bring my pan, because I want my pork chops to start doing their thing, but I'm not going to quite cook them yet. I'm going to take these guys and I'm going to put this to the side, because what I want to bring your attention to now is I have this marvelous, I mean, you know, my parents would always call them field onions. And then what I've done is I have quartered them into this size like this, and I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to put them on the platter like that. And I also have some wonderful regular green onions. If you don't have these marvelous, delicious onions, and you have green onions, you can also utilize this. And now I have a nice paper towel, because I want everything to be very well dry. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these right back on here, because I'm going to bring back what I use for the pork. I am going to brush my green onions. Yes, brush your green onions. In the meantime, I have a cast iron skillet right here that is heating up. I am going to continue to do so. And then what I want to do is you could just bring them all in here and just kind of give it a nice little, you know, paintbrush of the olive oil. So I am utilizing probably a good 2 tablespoons of that. I'm done with this. Move this out of the way. I bring back my salt. And I just gonna ahead and salt it all like so. And I also going to go ahead and bring the same identical peppers that we use, the red and the black peppers. Now we're done with that. Get that out of the way. We finito with that. We finito. Finito in Italian means we finish. Hello, beautiful people there. I see you. I don't have my glasses, but I don't know who it is. All right, now what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and get my cast iron skillet to be a little bit, you know, I'm raising it the temperature to about medium high. And then I want to take another different brush and I'm going to dip it in olive oil. And then I am just going to brush the ribs. So I'm utilizing this kind of cast iron skillet, which everything is going to be cooked in that. So the first thing that I want to do is to get my green, I'm going to get my olive oil on the side, and then I want to take my wonderful green onions, and I'm just going to put them right in there. I want them to get nice and toasty. I'm also going to get my field greens like that as well. And this is such a tasty, tasty, tasty dish. Who said that you can't have field greens or onions? And it goes marvelous, darling, with all of this. So these guys, I'm just going to leave them right in here in my cast iron skillet because I'm going to be also cooking my pork in that. And I'm just going to put them all in here like so. I'm not going to worry about anything because it's going to do their thing. And it's going to be smoky, and the more smokier the better. And you know what? I am also going to be utilizing the same plate when I get them out because I got all my deliciousness in there. You see when I'm doing all those deliciousness goes right in there. And don't touch them. Once you lay them down, let them hang out. Okay, now I'm done with that. So now I'm going to bring your attention to the little food processor. I have my little food processor right here. Let me see how I'm going to work this out so everybody can be happy with one another. So to my little food processor, because now we are going to be making the topping that is going to go over our delicious, yummy. Remember over here, we still have the pork chops. I took it out of the refrigerator, I dried it very well, and I have it in a nice cold plate. And nothing is going to happen to it because we're going to get to that. To this, I have 1 shallot that's going to go in here. 1 shallot. I don't know if you guys can see the smoke. It's smoking right now, and that's what I want because I want my onions to char, and that's what I'm looking for. I know I have my little things, so here they are. I just want to make sure that they're all nestled in there like so. I want that char, and I'm not going to move it until I get that. And the green onions, when you do this, I mean, you know, and if you ever do this on a open fire, that's how my parents would do it. They would do it on an open fire. And also, the way they would also do it is on the barbecue once we moved to America, and we have one of those. So to this 1 shallot, remember the shallot that we have here, I have 1 entire jalapeno. I have removed the membrane, so it's not super spicy, but I did leave a couple of seeds because, you know, I like a little spicy. And like my father would say, spicy good for your blood. Over here, I have 3 tablespoons of white basmati vinegar. White basmati vinegar goes in here. I also have a good tablespoon of honey. That's going to go in here. That's going to sweeten things up. Oh yeah, baby, baby, baby. Woo, woo, woo. Wait till you try this. You're going to go, oh my God, I never thought that I could use strawberries that way. And then I have a good teaspoon of white pepper. A good teaspoon of white pepper is going to go in here like so. And then to this, I'm going to just chop this up just a little bit. So just put it to the chop. Well, and we're going to, well, I know it's on. I didn't have it plugged in. But you know, it's okay. No problem. So we're going to chop, 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 chop. I don't want this to be, you know, what you call it. I don't want this to be, what is it called? Soup. I don't want this to be soup. I just want this to be chopped. Chop, chop, chop. It's going to be a nice little sauce. Now to this, I have 1.5 cups. What I've done is I've taken this beautiful strawberries and I have diced them, and I have 1.5 cups of that's going to go right in here like so. And I do not want this to be soup again. In the meantime, my onions are rocking and rolling over here. I'm just going to check on them real quick. Oh yes, they're starting to get charred. That's exactly what I want. Oh yes. Oh, they're looking marvelous, darling. They're looking marvelous, darling. Yes, yes, yes. And especially with the yumminess. And if one gets on the floor, don't worry about it. The floor police is not even here. I fired them. You know, sometimes, you know, they do fall on the floor. And Reggie, you know, he likes onions, but he likes them cooked. And usually onions are not very good for dogs. So what we want to do is, you know, we want to raise our temperature now for them to be even more higher. So now I have it on medium high. All right, now I bring your attention back to this, and then we're just going to chop, chop, and then open this up because I don't want this to be soup. It's going to be like a sauce, like a marvelous sauce. And it is, oh, my jalapeno, man. Oh my goodness, talk about spice. If you like a spice, oh, then don't take the membranes out. So now, chop, 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 chop. So now what you're looking at is, I'm going to get this out of the way so I can show you what I have here. Because, you know, I already have this bowl. Why dirty another bowl? So now what I have here is I have this deliciousness. This deliciousness that I'm just going to be utilizing. Look at that. Look at that. I'm done with this. Get this out of the way. Now, you can put this in a jar. You can put this in a jar, and you can keep it in the refrigerator up to 1 week. But I'm going to taste because I want to, because this is so good. Oh. 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 The more it sits, the more yumminess it becomes. Now I'm done with this. Get this out of the way. I'm going to come back over here and grab my wonderful bowl here that I have. My onions, like I stated, they are coming along beautifully, beautifully. Of course, if I was on the grill, and I love doing these on the grill, they would be done a lot quicker. So you have to be patient. Patient, guys. Patience is the key here. Patience is the key. And my cast iron, you know what, I like to use a cast iron skillet because it retains the heat. And we got to make sure that these guys are nice and charred. I know I have quite a few in here. And I always want, another thing, I'm going to give you a tip. When you take things, always remove all of your vegetables that you're going to be cooking a half an hour to 45 minutes before you cook them out of the refrigerator, so they come to room temperature. When it comes to pork, always take out your pork 15 minutes before you're going to cook them, so they come to room temperature, and that way they'll be much tastier and much more delicious. Oh yes. You know, this is so tasty. You know, and the way that my father would serve these, he would just put a little drizzle of olive oil. But I like to put my olive oil ahead of time. And that's what's happening here. All right, so what this is doing its thing, and we have our wonderful relish sauce, however you want to call it. Let me bring it to you. Let me show you how beautiful. See how beautiful that is? Look at that. Look at that. And it goes wonderful with pork. In the meantime, while we're waiting for this guy, I want to show you a little, it is a a cocktail, but it's a non-alcoholic cocktail. And what I have here is I have added some strawberries, a half a teaspoon of maple syrup, and mint. And then what I want to do is I do have an ice cream, and you can use this part or you can utilize this other part. So I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to just press it like so. A Bellini, guys, is a fruit that you mash just like a mojito, and then you add your alcoholic beverages. You know, usually it's like champagne, but in this case I am just going to be utilizing Sprite because I know it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but it's not 5 o'clock here, and I do have other appointments, so I cannot have alcohol. But if I were to use alcohol with this, it would be champagne, or I could use Prosecco. And then what I would do to this is I would take a nice spoon of that, like that. I'm going to use the whole thing because I love this. It's a very nice, pretty drink, and it's mint. And mint with strawberries is delicious. So then I'm done with that. Let me move this. Well, I'm actually going to eat that because it's wonderful. And then I'm just going to take my Sprite, and I'm just going to add it like so. Look at that. And this is a strawberry Bellini. So now that I am done with the strawberry Bellini, and now my wonderful deliciousness that is happening here. Oh, and you can smell the onions. Oh, it looks beautiful. Oh yes, you can smell the onions. They are caramelizing. They're doing their thing. And I just absolutely love it. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about strawberries. You know, strawberries, actually, the way the strawberries came about is that the farmers, that they had straw, they noticed that this plant started growing. And out of this plant, these beautiful red berries. And it was not called strawberries. I don't have the name of what originally they were called. But you know, strawberries are full of antioxidants. They're full of potassium. They're wonderful vitamin C. They prevent cancer. And I'm going to tell you something else. They're great in fiber. You know, and fiber is very good for our bodies to eliminate things that should not be there. And then see, this is what you're looking at, guys. Look at this beautiful. Look at this beautifulness. You see that? Nice and charred. And that's what we want. We want this to continue to be charred. You know, and the good thing about strawberries is the strawberries were actually cultivated once, you know, they saw that it could be eaten because they watched the birds. If the birds ate it, then they would eat it. And they were cultivated as far as the 19th century. Yes. And it was considered a luxurious dessert. And only the wealthy will be able to eat them, not the rest of the other people. And of course, today, everybody can have it. But one strawberry was a dessert before it's even made into with flour and all that other stuff. So now I'm almost done with my wonderful deliciousness. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my platter like so. And then I'm going to take my wonderful onions and put them right into here. I had everything before, you know, the yumminess in there. And I'm just going to get all that in here like so. Because now, you know, we got to get our pork in there. You know, you can have it as much as you want. You can, you know, you can do it any way you want to. You can decorate it any way you want to. Oh my goodness gracious. The smell of this kitchen. I wish that there was no phone. You know, and with the onions being in there, my father, yes, my father would take the pork and he would put it right in there. Yes, he would put it right in there. So I'm going to grab another one of these because I used it to touch the pork. So now I'm going to have it like over here because the pork is not cooked. And I'm going to continue to get my onions while my pork is doing its thing. Oh, yes. And this is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dish. So if you want to impress, if you want to have someone coming over, you could say, oh yes, we are having field onions with marvelous pork chop and this amazing, however you want to call the sauce. I don't have a name yet. I just call it, you know, field onions, just like my dad would always call them field onions. And I want to get my charred ones. Oh yes, baby, baby, baby. You know, and with the pork chop being in here, now I'm going to get another porky chop goes all going to be in there because this guy's almost done. And these pork chops, once you put them down, don't touch them. Don't touch them, guys. Don't touch them. And now I'm going to get the rest. And my father would do it this way because my dad, he loved, you know, my father was a good cook. I mean, my mom was a really good cook, but my dad, see, look at that. Look at those onions. Look at these grilled onions. Look at that. Let me bring it closer. Let me bring it closer. You see what I'm going with this? Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. Can you see that? Can you see that? All right. So my dad always said to me, you know, when you have your meat closer to you, it just gives a much better flavor, especially when you cook it, especially with onions. And like I said, this is a really lovely, 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 lovely dish. And I'm just going to continue to finish putting my onions in here, like so. So pretty on my beautiful platter there. Now I'm going to go grab my other, now I'm going to turn over my other, you know, the first pork chop that I put in here. So, you know, remember which pork chop goes to what. So now I'm going to get my last pork chop that's going to go in here. And then I'm done with this platter and I'm going to move that plate. And now the rest of my onion. And then what I want to do here to this is because, you know, I didn't salt too much my onions, is I want to come in here with it's a flaky sea salt. And you can really taste, you know, you can really taste the sea in these. And, you know, I would invest if I were you in this. And I got it at Amazon. Yes, I got it at Amazon. I did not go to a health food store to get it. I got it at Amazon. But, you know, you could get it at a health food store. So now it's time for me to turn my other little guy over. Because, you know, these guys are not that thick. And then that way we can get it all finished at the same time. So, you know, like I said, you could just decorate your onions any way you want to, like so. And then if you want to get some red pepper flakes, I'm just going to get my red pepper flakes that I have right here. And I'm just going to come over here with my red pepper flakes. And I'm just going to add them like that on top of my green onions. Oh, it is such a pretty dish. And let me tell you, there's something to be said about red pepper flakes. And when I went to, oh gosh, I can't remember, when we went to Tennessee, I went to this one place that they had all of these spices, and that's where I got my red pepper flakes. So when you go somewhere, go look at what kind of spice places they have so you can have that. All right, my pork, I like my pork medium, and it's almost done. My other onion, it's almost done. And like I said, you know, my dad always loved, you know, cooking, while you're cooking the pork, to leave that, you know, to leave the onion in there. It gives it, you know, my dad was all about flavor. And I love my food to be flavorful. And as you can see, I added some more red peppercorns. And then, of course, my wonderful deliciousness. So now my porky guys are almost done, Oh yeah. Because they're not really thick and they're juicy. And when you do the olive oil on them, it kind of seals it almost, and it keeps the meat juicy. And that's what we want to do. And I'm not getting out of here until this is done. Oh my goodness gracious. Now, if you want to have, the special look, the little special look, that they have at the restaurants, you move them like sideways. And they're still cooking with this other onion. You see that they're still cooking with this other onion. Because I want them to cook with that onion. And then I'm going to show you what, they're almost finished. They're almost finished. So I'm just going to wait for them to have that, that grill mark that everybody wants. And it doesn't have to be that way, I mean, it can. Oh yeah, I got the grill mark. Oh yeah. I love when things like this work. And we're hungry too. And it's almost finished. So you gotta be patient. So what else can I tell you about strawberries? Let me tell you how to secure your strawberries. When you bring them from the farm, never, ever, ever wash your strawberries. Because the minute that you wash them, then you got to use them. So what I want to do now is to even make it even more prettier. I'm going to have my plate. I'm going to move it to the side. And I do have some washed strawberries right here that I have. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my strawberries and I'm just going to cut them like that. And then because I want this dish to be shown that it does have strawberries, I am just going to add them right like so. Right like so. You see what I'm doing? Like there. To make it more prettier, because it's all about presentation. And who said that strawberries and green onions don't go together? Hey, I really like to push the envelope. I really like to create things. I really want things to just be different. I am one of those people that really likes to stress herself out when it comes to food. It took a long time to get there, It took a long time to get there because, sometimes it wasn't steady. All right, so now my pork chops, oh yes, my pork chops are done. And then what I want to do is I want to bring them like so on my platter. And I have this beautiful bowl. You can also have it in the platter if you want. And these guys are wonderful. They do not have all the pesticides. So these guys were raised. Yes, oh yes, look at you. You look beautiful. You look absolutely beautiful. And now let me show you how I am going to finish this. And this onion is still here, and this onion is having it with all this juiciness. Oh my God. And you can actually open up the onion like that if you want to, I mean, why not? There's nobody here that's going to say you can. And if they are, they can go to McDonald's. So I'm going to continue to do this, but now I want to tell you how I'm going to finish this. Get yourself a slotted spoon, okay, and then I would just bring the strawberries right, this wonderful relish or whatever you want to keep it, sauce or whatever you want to call it. And then let me bring this to you so I can show you what you have made. And this is what you are looking at. This marvelous, beautiful, delicious, sustainable pork chop with this amazing filled, wonderful onions. And that's all I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls. Enjoy strawberry season for those that live in Florida. Now is the time to go get your strawberry. I want to thank my sponsors. I want to thank Cola Harris with FARMASI. I want to thank Captain Stephen Bailey with Bailey Fish and Charters. I want to thank Dario Rodriguez with Life and Food Superstores. I also want to thank Solangel for giving me the most beautiful nails with Color Street. And I want to thank you for joining me in this beautiful mangiata. In this beautiful mangiata. Mangiata means in this beautiful food. Enjoy this.